Hi, this is Rod, your real estate guru, and the topic for today is fixer uppers. Is a fixer upper home the right home for you? Well, the answer is quite simply, it depends. It depends on a bunch of factors and what you think a fixer upper actually is. And do you have the money, funds, skills, and know how to actually get into it? So let's go over several pieces of fixer uppers. So fixer uppers can be very complicated just from the get go because fixer upper can mean really almost anything out in the market. It can be something that just simply needs to be dusted off. It can mean something that the entire deck system doesn't function anymore and must be remodeled. It can mean that the kitchen doesn't function, or maybe it's just outdated and needs a little touch up. So the term fixer upper is a loosely defined term. Investment grade often includes things that must be cash or cash like type products to purchase them. Fixer uppers, though, is a much looser type of terminology. So, is a fixer a good thing or a bad thing? And it can be both and neither. So, a fixer upper might be just right for your family if your family wants to go in and just lightly fix something up. It is my opinion, after doing this for lots of years, that most families think about fixer uppers as putting a fresh coat of paint on the wall or replacing the carpets, maybe some base flooring, some standard items, but not hugely complicated. Maybe replacing some windows, things like this. These would be considered very light fixers. So, in that case, and if your family can do it and finance it, that's wonderful. But there are much deeper fixer uppers that can't be fixed quite that easily. That things are just much more broken than that. So let's talk about things that can't be financed generally. So these are fundamental systems that banks look at. If you're getting an FHA loan or a VA loan or even a conventional loan or USDA loan of a standard type, fundamental systems must be there and they must work. The kitchen must function. The stove and all of the if there are appliances there, they must function. You can't have them as units that aren't working. The electrical system of the house must function. It can't be a fixer upper at the electrical panel has completely went out and you have no electricity for the house. Although it does fall under the term fixer upper because that's a very loose term. So you can have houses that have had a burned out electrical system and the whole system must be replaced. Well, that's really a difficult thing to do and very, very expensive. Now, to all of these types of loan products, there are rehab loans to help you get into a fixer upper if it's possible. And the rehab loan product can go a little distance. It doesn't go a long distance, but it's kind of that $30,000 to $50,000 area that it can help you, and your lender can help you with exact numbers on this. And this doesn't get paid to you as the homeowner. In fact, you're not even allowed to do the work yourself. You have to hire a contractor, a licensed person. Even if you're licensed, you still can't do it yourself. You have to have a separate third party doing this. That way, there is a liability separation between the homeowner, the financer, and the person actually doing the work. A lot of people come to me and say, well, I can do that work, and the bank can pay me to replace the electrical system of the home or the furnace, the foundation of the home, things like this. And that's not really possible. So fundamental items that get all of us in trouble when it comes to trying to finance something The roof. The roof must have at least 5 years left on it, or what we call a 5-year certification. So the roof must be in decent shape. It can't be going out and leaking today. That is a fundamental system problem. It must be functional. The foundation of this, so we go to the top, now we're going to the bottom. The fundamental system of the foundation of the home. It also must be functional. It can't be cracked all over the place and falling apart. All kinds of foundations are allowed, no doubt about that. Check your local jurisdictions for that. There are still jurisdictions that allow for wood foundations, and I was amazed at that. Nevertheless, there are still some that allow for it and can be financed, but they must be in good condition. They must be functional. Furnace systems, heating systems, cooling systems. And you don't have to have a cooling system, but you do have to have a heating system, and it must operate. It's part of the fundamental systems of the property. Also, I mentioned electrical systems. They must operate, and they must be up to code. The water system in the house must operate. It's a fundamental system. The septic system, if you have a septic on your property, it must also be operating. If you don't have one on the property, your line going to the city must be in operation. It can't be cracked or out or dysfunctioning somehow. That system must be working. These are fundamental systems. The siding of the house, of the exterior of the home, that is a fundamental system that keeps the weather outside and you at least somewhat dry and warm on the inside of the home. These are critical fundamental systems, and any lender is going to have a problem, no matter what kind of lending you're getting generally, with these kind of systems in failure. So fundamental systems, big deal when it comes to financing. Cosmetic differences. So when it comes to cosmetic differences, that is, just things like paint. Now, these are nice fixer-upper items. Things have been painted purple in a room, and the family moving in doesn't want it purple. They want it yellow or white or green or tutti frutti, whatever they want it. It's a nice cosmetic fixer-upper system. The floors. Maybe they're in poor repair. Maybe the carpets are dirty, but there are carpets. There is a flooring system there. It just needs to be updated or replaced of some kind. So those kind of cosmetics, a small hole in a door, a hole in a wall, an interior wall. Not a huge deal. Often those interior walls are sheetrock, and you can do sheetrock patch or get a sheetrock person in just to replace sections of the sheetrock. Those kind of cosmetic things can be done quickly and without massive expense, and can bring a home up to speed and make it look a lot better. And being willing to take those kind of things on can save you a lot of money when it comes to purchasing a home and being willing to take on what we call a cosmetic fixer. Maybe the outside of the house needs a fresh coat of paint, or it needs to be washed. I mean, a lot of homes simply look better by being, to get a sprayer and just spray it down and wash the home up. The yard maintenance also goes along with cosmetic fixers, because the yard maintenance may have fallen in poor repair and it needs to be dressed up again so it looks a lot better. A lot of value can come into cosmetic fixers. So you have to be thinking about that. Now, when it comes to finance, as mentioned before, there are multiple types of finance, and rehab hits the majority of these types of financing. If you're interested in a rehab loan attached to your financing, make sure you take time and talk to your lender about this, because these are specialized products. In some homes, the homeowner is not offering their home for sale under a rehab type of a loan. It is a different kind of a process, and it takes a certain kind of home and seller and buyer to be establishing those and just moving it forward. That's all. It just takes someone that's willing, and sometimes we have to talk to the homeowner and explain how they're still going to get their money, even though it's a rehab loan that the buyer is establishing here. So many things to be talking about. If you're interested in distressed homes, fixer-uppers, saving money and getting into the home that will become the home of your dreams with a little bit of sweat equity, let's talk. Put your notes down below. I'd love it if you would like the video. Take time and subscribe to my channel, your-realestateguru.com. We'll talk soon. Put your comments in there, and I get back to everybody. Thanks, guys.